Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So that's what we're doing right here. Let me make sure I get everything together. There we go. There we go. You're listening to the Ron G Show. Right here, we are joined by the acclaimed filmmaker, Ty Cooper, a creative leader whose work created in communities, craft, and impact. We'll discuss processing funding, festivals, and all the other stuff that rides in between there. For our listeners meeting you for the first time, good morning. Well, good afternoon, sir.
How you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, yeah. So, people listen to you for the first time.
hmm
Um, Tell us a little bit about your journey, the beginning.
Oh, the beginning? Oh man, that's a long journey. Let me try to let me make that shorter. Um, I'm from Harlem, from New York. Um, I was a marketing major throughout high school. My high school was one of the only couple of high schools that had majors in New York City, and so I was a marketing major. Love marketing, but I also was a fashion guy, so I love fashion. I'm from Harlem, so fashion and Harlem it goes together. And I bring that up because I really wanted to be a fashion designer, but I always wanted to have the marketing um, business background so that I can put my stuff out. I knew that in the early age that you can't just be an artist, a designer, or what have you. You need to be able to know how to market and take care of business. Um, so I got accepted to the Fashion Institute of Technology, which is FIT. One of the most famous um, you know fashion schools in the country. And but I also love being a I love the stock market. My favorite movie was Scarface and Wall Street. So Wall Street was one of my favorite movies. And I had that kind of tug of war with practicality and and dreams, and as far as art and so forth is concerned. And so I turned down FIT and I decided to continue pursuing marketing. So I went to school in Virginia, and uh, and that's when I started my company. Later on, I started my company in my third year in undergrad, as a marketing and branding company, promoting concerts and shows. And during that time, I would create my own my commercials, right? So I would just kind of like map out my commercials, and I have someone else film it from the television stations. And so I was doing so many of my commercials for all my different events that people would ask me, "Hey, who does your commercials?" So then I would say, "We," quote unquote, "we do it in house," but it was just me, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I always I made my situation appear to be bigger than what it was. I was the most popular. I was the biggest. I would say the biggest promoter in the Hampton Roads area at that time. I would say under one person. This lady named Pat Richardson from Voice of Production. I would say she was kind of more bigger than me. She started before me and so forth. But long story short, people were so they like my commercials, so I started taking on clients, shooting commercials, filming the commercials, editing, and then before you know it, man, I wrote my first stage play in 1997 called Please Papa Don't. So it was a stage play. This is before Tyler Perry got really big, right? So um, people were saying, hey, you should like, this your play is amazing. And I was like, well, I'm just in it for the money. So at the time, I'm young. I'm
Yeah.
young. I'm in my 20s. I'm like, all right, cool. That's cool. But I wrote it so that I can control the box office and all the money can be mine. And long story short, though, I just really loved the art form of writing. So I just kept on writing. I wrote some short plays, and that was a feature play. That was a three-act play. But after that, I would write some short plays, and then I started writing scripts, and I wrote a script that was going to be catered to Amanda Peet and Pharrell Williams. And over time, I lost the script. My computer got corrupted back then, and I lost the script, and I was like really upset about that. So I just kept promoting concerts and shows. I put that in the back burner, And then later on, I decided to go ahead and pick up the pen again and start writing. And I wrote a couple screenplays, and I filmed them, and that's all she wrote.
Mm. So, since you said that, what metric do you personally watch to gain a project impact?
What do you mean?
Like, what do you look for to make an impact on you? You got a project you got going,
Hmm.
and the metrics you watching is people curiosity in it, who you gonna send it to for them to look at. You know, there's got to be impact in there to say, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, or do you do it on your own without listening to other people, or not listening to other people, but giving it to other people to look to get their personal opinion?
Yeah, no, I do it on my own, man. What moves me, a story has to move me to want to create it and to want to foster it and put it out there into the public. Um, One thing that does I largely consider is that I try to make sure that I'm making films that really relate, that's relatable to people, so that they can connect to it. So, for instance, my film Amanda, which was the one that I really wanted Amanda Peet to be in, and Pharrell Williams. Amanda is a film, a 45-minute film, but it's a film about a young woman whose mother died from cancer when she was 9 years old, and all she remembered about her mom was her suffrage, and her mother suffered for 2 years. So in present day, Amanda is an artist trying to wait for her work to get curated in an art gallery. And while she's doing that, waiting for her work to get curated, she's working on the last piece that to go into the curation. Um, Trauma, when you have unresolved trauma will stick its ugly head up and say, "Hey, I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still here. You haven't dealt with me yet, so I'm still here." And that's exactly what it was. And she ended up making a decision that's extremely controversial. Once you see it, you will understand what it is. So for me, the story is about not just cancer, trauma, but it's about love. It's about community. And everyone could connect to that, and that's why so many people who see it, they fall in love with Amanda, and they fall in love with the film itself, because the story is very relatable. So I look for stories that's relatable. Is when I'm going to pick up something. If I'm going to pick up my own pen, or if I'm directing or producing a film that someone else wrote, then it has to be relatable to me for me to take it on. So that is like the kind of precursor that I pick up and choose when I decide, okay, that I use to choose a film or something I'm going to create. That I really want to make to resonate with people and make an impact. So
Yeah. Let's bring on to this next question. You led right into it.
yeah.
What is your philosophy on music and sound design when you storytell it?
Yeah, sound design is very important. Sound design can really make a person get immersed into watching a film. One thing I tell people, I own a marketing and branding company, right? So I'm shooting commercials and so forth. And some people ask me, as a marketer, people ask me, well, what's your favorite? What do you think is the best? What do you think is like the best marketing tool or avenue to take, or what type of medium should you think is the most effective? And I always tell people I like video, television commercials, either put it on television or put it on social media or whatever. But I like video because video has two things going for it, right? It has the audio, which is which connects to a part of the brain that, um, to me, it backs up what you're seeing. So if you are looking at if I want, as a marketer, and I want you to kind of like get connected to my event that I'm promoting, or my product or my service, then I look at being able to hit you with the visual, so the synapses in your brain is just like popping off, and then the audio as well. So when you look at it that way, then you know how important audio is to enhance a story. So with the sound design, music, and so forth, if you can get the right person to do your score for your film, I have a great musician because I do original scores for all my films. So
Mm-hmm.
I have a great musician who get in there. I do my movie, I give them the movie. he and I talk it out, and then I give him a lot of freedom to be creative, and he put it together. You know, sometimes like with sound design, for instance. So let's say that we are filming something by a lake, but the lake is calm and there's no activity, but you want the activity, you want something to kind of like be going on in the water. You want to hear the water splash and you want to hear something else, but it's not happening. The lake is really calm. No fish are jumping up and nothing, right?
Yeah.
Well, but let's say that you're filming a scene and you're in a boat, but then you look at another boat, or you look at another, yeah, you look at another boat or some type of, craft out there on the water. Then a sound design person can put some sound in there that when you look at that other boat, you can hear that boat. Now you may not be able to hear it in reality in real life, but the sound designer will say, okay, well, the motivation of this sound needs to happen, but it needs to be motivated by something. Well, the motivation is you looking at the other boat, or you looking at someone swimming, you looking at someone playing. They could be 100 yards away. The sound designer will put a faint sound in there that represents water. Like they make a noise way out there. You can't hear them in real life, but when
Right.
it comes down to a movie, the sound designer is very important to put all those elements in there. Having 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 birds, because you're in nature, so the sound designer will have birds chirping in the
Hmm.
sky. Even though you don't see the birds, even if the camera's not looking up in the sky, the fact that you outside on a boat in the water, it's possible that birds are somewhere, even if you don't see it. Now, if
Hmm.
you were in an apartment building, an apartment, windows closed, and you hear birds chirping, the sound designer not doing a good job, because
Right.
you got to show the bird. If you're in an apartment, you got to show the bird. So if the bird is in the window, on the windowsill, or if you have a bird in a cage, you got to show the bird. So sound design is really important to tell the story.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because when I sit down and write commercials and I get the voiceover, then comes the music behind the commercial. To me, that can make or break it. And I do my own music, and sometimes I go through something I can hit it like within 5 or 10 minutes. All right, that's the sound I want right there. Sometimes it may drag on for hours, so I can't find what I'm looking for. So that you're right about that because the sound will make things. Because if you like you brought up about movies, like say if you hear birds chirping in an apartment building, well that's not a good sound. Maybe traffic going by and horns honking, stuff like that. I see where you're coming from, and people don't know that sound guy who's doing that. Man, this guy got to sit down and just look at everything and put everything in place. I bet that's tedious work.
Oh yeah, it's very tedious. I don't. I'm not jealous of those people. That's why I pay them. That's why I pay them. I'm not jealous of them. I pay them.
Yeah.
Um, it's very tedious work, but a person who's a musician love doing it. They love because they know how important their job is, and when you know how relevant you are in the process of filmmaking, it makes you not look at the job as tedious. You look at the job as a necessity,
Hmm.
and I think that's why it's really good for it's really good. It's really valuable for someone to be a really good sound designer, or a person who's just simply doing your scoring.
Yeah.
And hold on a second, Ron. I'm just this light is flickering.
Okay.
I just turned it off, and I
Okay.
had a conversation with Alexa.
All right. So let's switch gears.
Hmm.
And the gears I'm switching to is what is scaring everybody, and that's
Mm.
AI.
Hmm.
I embrace AI because I'm using it the right way.
Hmm.
Some people use it the way they're not supposed to. So
Hmm.
how is AI either helping you or hindering you?
AI for me helps me. Now, I use AI different ways, right? So to, um, I use AI as an assistant. So, for instance, so for me, I know how to do all the things that I do. I know how to create amazing press releases. I know how to create marketing proposals. I know how to create social content calendars. I know how to create very business plans. I know how to write grants. I know how to do all those things. So for me, I don't use AI to replace me. I use AI to assist me. So prompt I'm a great prompt master, I call it. So for me, I put in when I am communicating with chat and I go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth before we get the final end result of what I need chat to do.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm feeding chat because I know what I want. I know how to do it. I'm using it as for me to cut time and be more efficient. I'm not using it in my craft of filmmaking to replace writing a script. I would never use it to write a script. I'm not using it to what some people do. Like I'm not creating a movie with
Yeah.
it, using it, But I use it for administrative things, writing a grant and so forth like that. And then we go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I'm like, okay, good. Because quite often, chat, for instance, is just a form of AI, could be very wrong, and
Yes.
you have to teach it. You have to say, okay, no, this is not it. This is not what I'm looking for. Um, so I use it in that way, but I have not used it in the way of, like I said, creating images and stuff like that. Now, one thing that I am going to do, I have a documentary that I've been sitting on for a few years that I started making in 2016, called America's Darkest Future, and it's about the inaccessibility of pre-K, quality pre-K in this country, since it's not universal. And so what I'm going to do, I'm a much better filmmaker now than I was in 2016. So I have some footage that I really don't really like that much. So what I'm going to do, I was looking for an animator to um, to help me substitute some of the footage with animation, and then I keep some of it real, so that, like, let's say, for instance, I'm following the two twins, the set of twins to class one day, right, young girls. So when they're walking down the hallway, what I want them to be, I want them to be animated, right? So I want an animation of them, two kids walking down the hallway, and then when they get into the classroom, they become real. So
Oh,
I'm,
okay.
so my goal, because it will break up my footage to make it look more dynamic and look better. So what I want to do is use AI to create the animation part of it. So instead of
Mm-hmm.
me paying $10,000 to an animator, I want to see if I could use if AI have some tools that I can use that they can create the animation for me. And so I am looking forward to seeing if that's something that I can possibly do for this particular project, and that would be awesome.
Oh man, that sounds awesome right there. That
Yeah,
yeah, I would
yeah, that'd
like
be
that.
cool. Yeah, me too. So I'm hoping that, because the animators, I take nothing away from them. They're great, and they're worth every dollar. But sometimes the budget is just, I don't have the $10,000 budget for that particular film,
Yeah.
unless I get funding. But since I'm using my own money, I offer the guy 3,500. He really was like 10,000. Maybe he could do 8,500, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll talk to you another time.
Yeah. Mm.
So we'll see.
So let me ask them about nonprofits. When they
Hmm.
want to do a documentary on their business and stuff
Hmm.
and everything, what should you um, have nonprofit or civil groups know before hiring a filmmaker?
Um, so one, they need to have a focus on why they want a filmmaker involved. Why do they want a video involved? Why do they feel that they need a video? And also how they're going to use it. A lot of my nonprofit clients, and I have a lot of them, I have had a lot of them, quite often they don't have a clear vision on what they really want and how it's going to be used. So sometimes a nonprofit, they will have an event coming up and they will say, oh yeah, they want to show a video. But if that's what you're paying me XYZ for, you really need to sit down and really don't look at not look at your marketing as like fifth or sixth down the line of importance. You know, a lot of nonprofits, they are so heavily involved in their program and so forth that they prioritize things way before marketing. And marketing should be right up there with your operating budget. When you're looking at your operating budget, it should be right up there. And when you're looking at development, your marketing should be tied into development. Development should not be separate from marketing, because you have to get people to know about your organization, to want to give to your organization, to want to support it. And a great way is by telling your story. And there's many ways you can tell your story. But as I stated earlier, telling your story with sound and visual is like the best thing. You know, people get captivated. Even on social media, you know, videos are more watched than anything on social media. So putting the video up there is obviously, and let people like the research is out there. So all they got to do, a nonprofit doesn't have to spend a lot of money on researching to find out that that is true. The information is right out there. You can just Google it, and you have other organizations that put millions of dollars into something, and they have those results, and the results are free for you to see. So I think, like I said, I think really one of the things is just not looking at marketing as something that's not important, that you may get to it one day or not. I think that's really the main thing for them to consider when they're hiring, like a filmmaker like myself, to do that.
You know, and I concur with you. The reason why I'm saying that is somebody will come up to me and say, hey, Ron, I need a commercial on your station to run for a project that I'm doing. I said, when is it? Friday. You know today is Monday, right? They go, yeah. I said, I could take your money, but I'm not going to do it. I said, you knew about this. How long did you start this? Oh, we started talking about it and everything 4 months ago. That's when you sort of start running commercials. That's when you start doing it. Don't wait till the last minute. And a lot of people don't. They will not put that as 1 and 2 on their list.
No. Nonprofits, you got to understand. A lot of times these nonprofits are just kind of they focus so much on the issue that their nonprofit is trying to solve that they don't think about marketing or any of that kind of stuff. It's just not a thing for them. Now, and I'm not going to say, I'm not speaking in absolute terms because everyone is different, but a large percentage overall, yeah, you don't. A lot of nonprofits do not have a marketing department, and they don't have a marketer as a leader. A lot of them do not. A lot of them do not. More than you. It's scary that they don't have that background. You know.
That's true. So
Yeah.
I'm switching gear. I'm switching gears all over the place.
Oh no, please.
Yeah, because I know you do on film festivals and stuff out there.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that in a few, but can you help me out in 3 common mistakes you see festivals submission, and how do they fix them?
Okay, you said 3 mistakes from whom though? Like
Three,
by whom?
3
Made by
common
whom?
mistakes that the people get together and want to do a festival, a film festival,
Okay.
and it's sometimes there's more than 3 mistakes, common mistakes. But what are
Yeah.
the most common mistakes that people do?
That I see at film festivals, like
Yes.
another film festival.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you want me to pick on my fellow film festivals out there in the world.
You don't name them.
No, I could name them.
Okay.
Well, I would say this. One of the things that's high on the list when I see is that a lot of film festivals do not have enough volunteers. So when they don't have enough volunteers, the volunteers really make it really makes your patrons experience good or bad,
Mm-hmm.
like good or bad. You have some festivals that try to grow too fast, and they don't have a plan of growth, you know, so they try to like just do too much, just way too fast, and they start dropping the ball because themselves quite often are not experts in that field, and sometimes they just kind of just yeah, I just seen it. I'm not gonna mention the name, but I've seen a festival just grow too fast, and really they didn't stick around. You know, it didn't stick around.
Yeah.
And then also another thing I would say is festivals. Some festivals directors they often try. They look at it as a money grab. So, for instance, you can go to some film festivals and they will have 50 different categories, right? And so with 50 different categories, a filmmaker will come on to Film Freeway. That's where, you know, pretty much all the festivals are located for you to submit your film. And they'll go to your, you know, to your page and they will look at, okay, well, I'm going to submit to this, and this category. But you got to pay for each one, right? You got to pay for each category. A lot of independent filmmakers just don't have that money. And so to me, I don't do that, right? I have best cinema, no, I have best animation, best music video, best narrative short, and best documentary. And then this year, I just added best actor, male, female, and best ensemble and cast. That's the only categories I have.
Hmm.
I'm going to give awards beyond those categories, but you don't have to pay to enter into those categories. I'm going to give an award for best choreography. I'm going to give an award for best director, male, female, but you don't have to submit. I mean, submit into those. It's automatic. Right? We're going to choose those awards and give out that award without making people um, pay for each category that they want to be in. So I look at that as a major thing because it makes more money for the festival, but it's doing a disservice sometimes for the for not the patron, for the filmmaker, because they just don't have that kind of money to submit. Because, like, for instance, to submit to Indie Short Film Festival it costs $40 right now. Can you imagine them paying for 5 different categories? Like, I just don't. I think it's a money
Yeah.
grab, and I just don't like it when I see it because I know what it's about. I know what it's about, and it's to get people to enter more. And as a fellow filmmaker who also runs a festival, my goal isn't to do that. My goal is to help you, you know. So that's kind of
Yeah.
what I think is like a football for me when it comes down to some of the film festivals.
Okay. So let's talk about your film festival. When is that coming up?
The Indie Short Film Festival is every March, so it's March 20. This one is March 20th to the 22nd, and we have many different events throughout the weekend. You know, from the screenwriting competition to table reads. You know, for the top 3 screenplays, and we have 100. And this past year in March, we had 110 films that we showed. That's a lot of films for a young festival. Um, and then we have a launch party with a live band and a DJ and you know food at the event. And panel discussions and all kind of stuff. You know, Sunday brunch awards and everything. So it's a really cool festival. People really like it. We got some really good reviews, really strong, solid reviews by filmmakers. Um, so really, I don't, you know, it's something, you know, for that festival, you try to, as a business person, as a promoter, as an event organizer, you try to think about, okay, how can I make it bigger? How can I make it better? For me, maintaining what we accomplished this past year, that would be the goal because it was superb, it was high quality, it was amazing. And people traveled in from Sweden, people traveled in from
Wow.
California, you know, yeah, people traveled from all around the country and as well as Sweden. And then we also screened films from 14 different countries as well. So it
Mm.
was a really good festival. You know, it's an international festival, and you know, and I'm very proud of it.
So that takes place in March.
Yeah, every
Is
March in
it,
Charlottesville, Virginia.
I was going to ask you where we're at. You just told
Yeah,
me.
Charlottesville. Yeah, Charlottesville,
Okay.
Virginia. And to your listening audience, Charlottesville is not Charlotte, North Carolina. We're talking about Charlottesville, Virginia. That's where the University of Virginia is at. And those of
Yes.
you who like Thomas Jefferson, and I don't like him, but those of you who like Thomas Jefferson, is his home. This is his town.
Okay.
Was his town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Wow. So let me ask you something. What
Yeah,
is the
sure.
hard truth about the industry you wish someone had told you earlier?
The hard truth. Um, I haven't had any bumps or bruises in the industry because I've been promoting concerts and shows for a long time. I started my promotion business in 1993, as a very year at Norfolk State University. So for me, I entered the business of promoting and entertainment very early. So I was able to under, I was able to come to an understanding relatively early about how some people are and how some people would do anything for money, anything for fame and glory. So for me, someone they didn't have to tell me about this, um, but for me, I would never, I would never lose my integrity for a dollar. So I
Mm.
would never go out on a limb and do something um, that I would say. I'm trying to choose my words wisely in your show. I would never. Put it this way, I would never have been involved with the whole Diddy scandal.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would never have had that happen to me because of my moral ground. I have a solid moral ground, but I do see people get swallowed up in it. I used to manage Maxine Jones from Evolve, so I used to manage her and stuff like that. And I never got into that other side of things, where it was like so deep. But I do know people who got swallowed up in that. I know someone who compromised their moral compass, and
Yeah.
you see that all the time in the entertainment business. So I haven't had any bumps or bruises, fortunately, because I just kind of I'm very perceptive, very perceptive, and when I'm walking into rooms, I try to read the room anyway and be like, okay, nah,
Okay.
this is not for me. Like this is not the room. This is the wrong door. This is the wrong door. This is not for
Yeah.
me right here. And yeah, and like I said, it's really prevalent, man. You really see it a lot. And you really see it more. The more you do in the entertainment business, and the more people who you do business with on some level or another, you just start to see more. It more opens up to you. If you
Yeah.
haven't seen it, it's because you're not deep enough. You're not really up on that level yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
If you're just promoting concerts or shows, eh. But if you're really trying to make some real money and you really start meeting the people, then you start saying, because then you start hearing, if you observe it, they say slick little things to test, like to kind of test your reaction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, little stuff like that.
Oh, I know about that. I just I hear it. I just keep looking straight forward, and I'm not gonna give them say what you just say.
Yeah.
I'm in my own zone because people
Yeah.
test you all the
Yeah.
time to find out, oh,
Yeah.
how can I get up under their skin?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
they'll say little tidbits
Hmm.
that that they're jabbing you, but I'm sorry, but I'm jab proof. I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
go for
jab proof
that.
too, man. Yeah, I'm jab proof, man. So for me, I'm cool. I would love to get a big check from Hollywood. I
Mm-hmm.
would love to get a big check from Hollywood. And the checks are out there. And you don't always have to do something to compromise yourself neither to get it. It's out there.
Yeah.
But I'm also kind of cool with doing the way I'm doing it on an independent level because I know my skill set and I know my experience with promoting. So if I'm making a movie, I know how to put the movie out there to make money. I don't
Yeah.
need to have it on Netflix to make money. Sometimes you can put it on Amazon or Netflix and make less money than you can if you put a lot of the work inside. Now it's a lot of work, right? But even
Yeah.
if I have a film on Netflix, I will still promote the heck out of it. I will still be working.
Mm-hmm.
Like like people they get a deal with Hulu Amazon, Netflix, or someone, and then they think that they don't have to work anymore. It's like they
Yeah.
depend on them promoting it. Man, you know how much content Netflix and all those streaming services have? They're not promoting your film, your singular
Mm-mm.
film. It's not going to happen. They think they're going to promote your film over like Apple TV or whatever. Going to open. I mean, going to
Right.
promote your film more than they promoting Denzel Spike Lee film. No, it's not going to happen. So you got to just work, work, work. So I'd rather work and make the money that I make opposed to give it up just because it's on Netflix or something like that. Now you gotta give me the money too.
Yeah.
I'm an older guy though. See, if I was younger, maybe if I was doing what I'm doing now at 20, then maybe I would be like, oh yeah, let me get the deal. But as an older guy, now you got to give me the money, or I'm not giving up my intellectual property, my IP, just
Mm.
because.
That. Yeah.
You know, it's just not gonna happen. So I read a movie. So we have the new film, the documentary, The Price of Resistance, which is a documentary about a civil rights activist from the '60s who went to Mississippi in '65 through '69 to fight voter suppression, and was met by the KKK and racist police, and almost was killed, multiple times. So that film, and he was targeted by the FBI under the counterintelligence program under Hoover's administration, aka COINTELPRO. So with them, with that project, we are screening it. We rent movie theaters out, screen it, sell tickets, make profit. We are selling it, selling visits. So if a school or a library or whomever, if they want to bring it, then we charge $2,500 plus travel and hotel, or $3,500 all inclusive. So
Yeah.
we make money from our film, but you don't usually find people making money like that from a short film, because most most artists, they just want to make a beautiful image, and hope that they get distribution. And if they don't get distribution, they don't know how to do it the way I'm doing it because they're not promoters. So it lives on their computer, or maybe they dump it on YouTube or something like that.
Yeah.
And but like I said, no, not me. That's just not my style of doing what I'm trying to do here, trying to accomplish. So um, those yeah. So I kind of went in that direction from the Hollywood stuff, how some people sell their souls to that. And I'm like, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
There's no easy way out.
I hear you on that. A lot of people, there's always an easy way out, but it's not.
Mm-mm.
So,
No.
final question for you.
Sure.
Where should listeners find your work online and to keep up with your screenings?
Yeah. So most of my work you gotta see at the theater. Like even Amanda, I toured Amanda, and then I stopped touring in 2003. Yeah, I think it was 2003 with Amanda. But now I'm putting it back on the road. But at some point I will release that, to the public. I will. But there's too much money on the table because too many people around the country haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So, so you still have life. Although something may not have been done in 2025, it still has life. But you can keep up with everything. So it just depends. But you can go to lifeviewmarketing.com. That's LIFV IEW, lifeviewmarketing.com. And I put things up there as well. You can go to some of the movies and kind of like check out the trailers and stuff like that. So that's up there. You can do that. And also my Instagram is Ty Creative Visuals. So Ty is TY Creative Visuals, and that's on Instagram. And sometimes I post stuff on Instagram, like when we're going to be hitting the road and things like that.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah,
Because
man. Yeah,
I'm going
yeah.
to be talking to you down the line because I like some of the things that you're doing, and I want the station to get involved with you and,
Yeah,
and
thank
and
you.
put things out to make sure that everybody's on the same page. You know, my biggest gripe about everything is Monday morning. And you probably ask me,
Mm-hmm.
why Monday morning? Because everybody said, well, I didn't know that was going on. Nobody told me about it. I mean, we got so many ways of reaching people. But
Yeah,
one
right.
thing I did find out, I'm a baby boomer.
Mm-hmm.
There's some that are baby boomers refuse to get on a computer, point blank.
Oh
You
yeah.
got you got to do the grassroots, the old-fashioned way. Go where
Mm-hmm.
they play bingo at, or family reunion or something. Go out there because I keep my card stuff with me no matter where I go, no matter where I
Yeah,
go, and
yeah,
that's my way of getting the word out. Because some people, I'm telling you, they're scared to death to get on a computer. They think it's the devil.
yeah, yeah. I don't know those people. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know those people. Even my mother gets on the computer, so I don't
Hmm.
even know. I don't know them, man. I'm sure they out there.
Oh, you come here
Um,
to rural Texas. There's a bunch of them out
oh, okay, okay.
there.
Well, I'm sure of that. I'm sure of
Yeah.
that.
So
I would say one thing though, man. I want to say thank you for inviting me onto your show. Really appreciate it. Um, and I just want to let people know that tomorrow is not promised, man. So pursue your dreams today. You may be putting off things and say, oh man, I can't do this, I can't do that. I wasn't trained. I wasn't trained as a filmmaker. I was a marketer, and I have made some beautiful projects. I'm directing a film November 14th to the 16th in Washington D.C. And this was a film that I didn't write. Someone else wrote it, and I'm directing it. And I just did the press. I just did it's like 160 something shot list. So it's 160 something shots my director of photography, my DP has to capture. Excuse me, has to capture. But you know, it's a lot of work that goes into it. It's a short film, but the reality is, don't be afraid to work. Like you're already working for someone else. Most of America work for someone else, and most Americans are not entrepreneurs like myself. So you're already working for someone else. So why wouldn't you work for yourself? So if you have that burning desire in of some type of art form, just go ahead and pursue it. And when it came down to filmmaking, I went to YouTube University. I put up YouTube and I did look at all the training videos for free, and it really gave me a lot that I didn't know beforehand. Even when I was shooting my commercials, filmmaking and commercials, there's a good segue to doing it, but it's not the same. You still got to get trained. You still got to learn. And I taught myself. I'm self-taught when it comes down to filmmaking. I'm self-taught, 100% self-taught. But I didn't go to film school. So, but it doesn't matter. It was something I wanted to do. I wanted to pursue it, and I did. And I'm very happy that I did it. My mom and dad proud of me. Or every other day they proud of me because I do so much, and it's normal for them now, because it's been 32 years of me being in business. But when I make a new movie, they come down from New York to Virginia to see it, in the movie theater, and they just loving it, and people loving on them, and I love to see my parents proud. What I mean? I mean, most of us do. So I'm just saying, basically, just if you have that burning desire to do something, whatever it is, just go ahead and do it. Tomorrow is definitely not promised. I lost many people, many family members to cancer and things like that. So tomorrow is definitely not promised.
you're so right. You're so right. Okay, Ty, I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on the show.
All
And we
right.
will
Thank you.
have this replay set be on YouTube probably by the end of the day, and I'll send you the link.
Okay. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you.
All right, you take care.
All right, Ron.
Okay,
And guess what? Guess what, too? One
what's that?
last thing. Ron G. Ron G is a friend of mine. DJ Ron G from New York. He's a friend of mine. I don't know if you ever heard of Ron G.
Yeah,
He's a big time, very popular DJ.
I
Yeah,
did
yeah. So,
because I have that name, and I looked up Ron G, and his popped up. That's
so
so
yeah,
ironic. You know him because I seen
yeah.
his pop up. I said, I hope you don't get mad at me because I'm Ron G too. Yeah, I
Now,
did. I did see that, and it's ironic now
yeah.
that you know the guy.
Yeah, he's from Harlem. He's from Harlem. He's from the set of buildings right beside me. I'm from Colonial, and he's from
Uh-huh.
Polo Grounds. You know, Willie
Okay.
Mays, where Willie Mays played baseball. That's where he's
Okay.
from.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, well,
that's where
well,
he's from.
well, give him my love and everything. Tell him keep on doing what he's doing. I'm not trying to copy him. All
All right,
right, man. I
all
appreciate
right,
it.
no doubt, man. Take
Okay.
it easy.
All right.
All right,
Bye.
see you.
Recording stopped.
All right, everybody. You know who that was. That was my man right there, Ty Cooper here on WSAN Radio. We appreciate the time that he came on and the things that he do. Oh, man, it was phenomenal